Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 G70 Launch Edition. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Genesis of Sandy for giving me some time with this Launch Edition. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. So under the hood, we have a twin-turbo 3.3 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 17 around town and then 25 on the highway, with power outputs being 365 horsepower and then 376 pound-feet of torque. I love how you have the gigantic turbo logo there with the carbon fiber. Definitely a cool look. Now let's go over the front end of the G70. So first off, this color is called Melbourne Gray. It's part of the Launch Edition. Now if you guys are wondering why the car is dirty, there is a special cleaning procedure that has to be done to this particular paint. You can't just take it through a regular car wash, and this car literally just got off the transport truck, getting you guys this content right away. But yes, that's my explanation for why it's dirty. Anyways, we have the Genesis logo in the center, and just look how cool this is. It literally is a matte paint color, looks really unique. And then notice we've got the full LED lights. I love these new headlights. They look really good. We've got the parking sensors on the front. Notice that you've got the Genesis grille with the sensor right there in the middle that kind of matches everything, and then a camera at the top. But yeah, overall, the look on this is absolutely fantastic. And don't mind the plastic wrapping again. This literally just got off the transport truck. So coming around the side here, we've got two 25mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the front, and then two 55mm tires wrapped around 19-inch wheels in the back. And then we have the red brake calipers for the Brembo brakes. Definitely love the look. I love the look of the wheels as well. They kind of match with the overall theme of this particular car. Notice we've got the blacked out venting right there, and then the bottom of the mirror is black, and then the top is that Melbourne Gray. And then, by the way, that red striping is just part of what this comes with from transport, so don't mind that. That's actually not part of the car. But yeah, just look at this from the side perspective. Looks really cool. Something I do want to mention is the brakes in the back are also Brembos. A lot of cars will do front Brembo brakes, but not rear. This has front and rear. So here is the trunk area in the G70. So notice we've got our Genesis mat just down here. Storage space is actually really good. Feels like it's about the same size as the previous G70 in terms of the space back here, but overall pretty solid. And then it is just a regular trunk, so you just have to pop it down yourself. Oh wait, now we got it. Now let's finish things up here in the rear of the G70. So first off, I love the new style with the taillights. Definitely a really good look. And then aside from that, we've got all of our normal Genesis badges right here. So you've got the Genesis logo, G70 3.3T, 4-wheel drive. And then again, those new taillights look really good. And I love the coverings over the exhaust tips as well. I think that's another good look. And then the diffuser here in the back. Overall, this car really does not have a bad angle. And now here's the door panel in the back of the G70. So first off, I love the quilted design here with the red leather in the back. I think it looks fantastic. And then here on the armrest as well. And then notice we've got the black contrasted stitching. And then we've got, of course, more plastic covering because again, this just got off the transport truck, but you can see you've got that same design here with the leather. You've got really nice piping, stitching all over. And then here's a quick look at the vents. And then it's got a little charging port right there on top of that. But yeah, this interior with this exterior color looks fantastic. And well, see ya. Now here's the door panel in the front. Before we go over the door panel though, notice the mirror does have blind spot monitoring. And then again, we've got that same quilted design here with the red leather. And then on the armrest, we've got our memory seats right here. And then we've got all of our window controls right there, and then the mirror adjustments as well. Some speakers for the sound system. We've got our Genesis plaque. And then here are the seats. So again, we've got the full red leather seats. I like the metallic trim there at the top. Quilted design all throughout. Power adjustments there on the side. And then here's the pedal layout at the bottom. That's your gas cap release. That is for the trunk. The steering wheel is automatically adjustable. And there's one more look before we pop in. So here's our steering wheel on the new G70. So first notice we've got really nice leather at the top and at the bottom. Perforated leather here on the side. We're actually gonna grab it. We've got these nice paddles here on the back of the steering wheel. And we've got our voice command, volume controls. And then notice over here, we've got our lane keep assist and then our cruise control. Got the little stalk there for the windshield wipers. Light stalk / turn signal stalk on the other side. And that's all for the steering wheel. Here's the center gauge cluster, and well, it still has the plastic wrapping, which I'm allowed to take off, and hopefully people that like that are satisfied by me taking that off. Anyways, notice again, you've got the speed and the RPMs, and then you have the screen here in the center, which you can scroll through a couple different menus to basically get different bits of information here on the G70. Nothing too crazy, but I definitely like the look. Last thing here in the center is the drive mode select. We've got our Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus, and then our Custom. And you can actually hear the exhaust get a little bit louder when you go into the Sport. And then the Sport Plus, you can actually it's the Sport Plus, you can hear it get louder. The Sport's a little bit quieter. Sport Plus, I can hear the exhaust get a little bit louder. That's pretty cool. Now here's the center infotainment system. First off, we'll pop it into reverse. You can see you've got the backup camera, and then we have our bird's eye view. And then you have a couple different viewpoints here as well. Overall, the camera system's really good. Pop it back into park. As for the rest of the infotainment system, you guys know I love this screen setup, so response time is really good on it. You do get the sounds of nature with this as well, but yeah, overall it's really easy to use, and it looks nice as well, I feel like, with the rest of the dash. I know some people might not like the popped on tablet look, but I think overall it definitely has a nice aesthetic. So we've got our vents right here at the hazard light button, and then the stop start button, and then we've got our analog controls for the infotainment system, dual zone climate, heated and cooled seats, and heated steering wheel, and then the USBs, and then wireless charging pad, and then here's the shifter for that 8-speed automatic. This is our drive mode select right here. That's the parking sensors. That is the camera to turn that on, so you press that and then it'll turn the camera on. Stability control, auto hold, parking brake, couple cup holders. I love all the red leather, and it goes onto the dash. Definitely looks really nice, and then black stitching, or sorry, red stitching on the black leather backwards. Here's the center console. Right here we've got another USB, and then notice how it all connects together with the stitching. Looks really nice. And then we've got the nice metallic tab for the glove box. And then finishing things here at the very top, notice that we've got the sunroof here, suede headliner, which is definitely a nice touch. The controls for the sunroof is just right there, and it is all automated. Now here's a window sticker for this G70. Again, it's the Launch Edition. You guys can feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read all of the options on this. There's not really that many features you can actually add. Comes fully loaded if it's a launch. There's your total MSRP, $55,740 before any type of market adjustment. And wait for it. Wait for it. Let's take the G70 out and see how it drives. Now let's talk about the visibility here in the new G70. So you can see visibility of the hood, and then this one does have the heads-up display. There's both the mirrors, and then the rear, yeah, visibility is literally identical. No change there, but let's set off. Setting off here in the 2022 G70. Now, first thing, let's talk about the ride quality and see if that's any different. It really doesn't feel any different. It feels like it's pretty much the same car. Now I drove that mostly in sport mode. We'll do this one in Sport Plus because, well, the other one didn't have a Sport Plus mode. And it'll keep it in a lower gear while we are in this drive mode. Obviously, I do feel a difference with the engines because this one has a bigger engine. But compared to last year's G70 with the 3.3 liter twin turbo V6, it doesn't feel any quicker, any different. It feels completely the same. And this one does have the camera mirror, which definitely a nice feature, and that's one of the benefits of having a partial digital gauge cluster, whereas the old G70 didn't have that. Yeah, so much torque here. This is definitely the engine to get, I will tell you that, guys. I guess that if this is not only a review of the new and the old, it's also a review of the engine comparison. And yeah, this engine's definitely worth getting. You can definitely feel a difference with the brakes. Those Brembo brakes definitely have quite a bit more stopping power, and we'll get our full-blown acceleration. Yeah, you can see that this is significantly quicker. I mean, it just shreds through it. Just so much fun, so much power. But again, this isn't about the engine, this is about the driving dynamics. So the steering wheel literally feels the same. Now in terms of the steering, something that I actually can perceive is the weight difference with the front end. This front end does feel a little bit heavier, but again, if we did a 2021 with the same engine, the front end would feel identical. So far, it really doesn't feel like it's a different car from a driving perspective. It feels like it's pretty much the same car. Other than the fact that you get a little bit of a different ambiance, I guess I could say, right? What I'm looking at here in the center looks significantly nicer than the 2021. And then the infotainment system, like I said, I feel like that is nicely better integrated basically onto the dash. And then the other thing to note is this one does have air conditioned seats, whereas the other one didn't. So I guess I'm more comfortable because it's pretty hot outside today. So I guess that's a plus. But I guess this doesn't really feel like a complete redesign. It feels more like a refresh. It looks like a redesign because the car looks significantly different on the outside when you first glance at it. But once you start looking at the finer details like I showed you guys, there's not as many differences. And driving dynamic wise, it really does drive the same. So there really isn't a difference. And then I know some people will be wondering about the Kia Stinger. It feels similar to the Kia Stinger, but for some reason this feels like it handles a little bit better. The Kia Stinger almost feels like it's heavier, whereas this, it feels like it's a little bit more nimble. Now, I don't know if that's true. That's just what I'm able to perceive when I am driving this car. Is it doesn't feel quite as I guess slow as the Stinger. The Stinger's not a slow car, but like this just feels like it's punchier, and it feels like it's more nimble, turn-ins better, all that kind of stuff. It just feels like it's a little bit sportier than the Stinger from a driving perspective. Yeah, those brakes, wow. There's a big difference with the standard brakes versus these Brembos. These Brembos, man, they stop on a dime, let me tell you. But let's get into signing things up here with this 2022 G70. So first off, the new exterior styling looks fantastic. It looks better than the old one. Interior styling, it's definitely a nicer interior. There's a lot of elements that are the same, but all the stuff that really matters, right? The seats and the touch points, they've added some stuff that makes it feel a little bit nicer, so that's definitely a huge plus. Driving dynamic wise, it drives the same. So I guess what I have to say is, again, it's really more of a, I guess, a refresh than a full redesign. But I mean, just from the looks alone, it definitely, it's almost worth it, because it's not like it's more expensive. It's about the same price as the previous generation G70, but it looks so much better. And so I think just from a look perspective, it's worth getting. And if you can get one of these launch editions like what Genesis of Sandy has, I would go for it. The paint, obviously you got to do some special washing with it, but it's definitely a super unique paint color. And let's get sum things up for our video on this 2022 Genesis G70 Launch Edition. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to Genesis of Sandy for giving me some time with this G70. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.